through the looking glass into the wild and wonderful world of animation and video games. I'm your host, Alicyn Packard, and it's going to be such a fun night tonight because our guest is the one and only Sharon Muthu. Sharon and I met in an acting class at least 8 years ago or so, and she's an amazing person. She's both an on-camera actress as well as a voice actress. You might know her as Agent Bellum in Carmen Sandiego. I'm so excited to bring Sharon on the show tonight. I want to know who's tuning in live. Cowboy! Oh my God, it's so good to see you! Tamar, thank you for your compliment about the music. It's an artist named Pogo who does micro sampling, and I love his work. Hey, Danny! Kit Kat Herb tuning in. Herbie tuning in all the way from Australia. What? Thank you. Sebastian Hunter, so good to see you guys. Jose, Yokai in the background, gotta represent. Sam, yay, you made it. That's right, Meyer. It is a mix of the Tigger movie, and it's like one of my favorite tracks. Hey, Jeffrey, good to see you. Mr. Gibbs. Aw, guys. Hey, Susan. Nice to see you on here. Ah, Nika. So good to see you. Oh, I'm so excited, you guys, for tonight. Sometimes you just have to jump up and down to get the energy going. You know what I mean? So, without further ado, I want to welcome Sharon onto the show. I got a couple of your questions in advance, so I'll do my best to get to them. And we're going to have a chat. So please, ladies and gentlemen, and, you know, people of all sorts, put your hands in the air. And this dress, right? Hi!
We're live!
We're live! Ah, how are you, baby doll?
Good, how are you? It's so nice to see you.
It's
Your
so
hair
good
is
to be here.
fabulous.
What was that?
Your hair is fabulous.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's different from the last time I saw you, for sure.
Like the style queen. We're just all aspiring to be like you.
Oh, God, I'm just aspiring to be like you. Oh, my God, I want to lean in and hear the soothing, dulcet tones of Sharon Muthu.
Just talking over here. You're just going to hear all the dulcet tones tonight, folks.
It's dulcet night.
It is. We were laughing earlier saying that it's going to be like girls' night.
Yeah.
When we're on together. There we go.
Especially because
Allie started.
I went to grab a club soda and I grabbed this club soda, which is spiked. So it's going to, you know, just cracked it open. It's going to be a fun night. Sharon, so you're in a different time zone right now.
I am.
Is that right?
I am on the East Coast. So
East Coast, represent.
dark over
Tell
here.
us,
Oh.
you've now made the transition, so you are bi-coastal, is that right?
I am bi-coastal, yes. It was sort of I think you all know my husband as well. I know Allie does. No Sheer Dalal is my husband, and he's also in the biz and very prolific. And it's always been a dream of ours to be bi-coastal, and we sort of pulled the trigger on that, you know, started kind of making the decisions towards the end of 2020. And we are based in Atlanta, but there is no escaping, you know, LA. LA is still home. Actually, No Sheer was supposed to join us tonight, or at least pop in, and he's in LA working on something. So we've been back and forth every month, and but it's been great. It's the best of both coasts. And yes, somebody said Vice Admiral Rampart. I am married to a Sith. So
yes, that's right. Now, do you find, because I feel like our neighbors moved to Georgia, and the Atlanta scene's really popping for on camera. Do you find, are you busy out there?
It's busy here. It's really exciting. And I think that was part of the decision. No, she's originally from New York. I'm a Chicago girl, born and raised. And so when we were trying to decide, you know, this dream that we had of being bi-coastal, what does that mean? What city will we end up in? Atlanta jumped to the top of the charts pretty quickly because there's just the really prolific on-camera scene here. You know, I'm a seasons girl. I love autumn. I'm a holiday nut, so I need like that gradual lead in to the holidays and the cold. And I saw my first autumn colors in 15 years this year, and you know, and when we need the beach, we head back that way and go. And when we need our seasons and our families all over here, up and down the East Coast. So it's been great. And a lot of our colleagues and friends are out here now. So it's just cool. It's kind of cool to be part of the new wave that's over here.
New wave. Hey, Speaking of new wave,
Oh,
I saw something on your Instagram post about a cool new project you're a part of. Can you
yeah.
tell us about that?
Yes. So New Wave is a new animated series that if you go to my socials, you'll see the cast list. The cast list is everybody that we work with and we know and love. It's just a bunch of amazing, amazing talent. And it's a series about set against the backdrop of the 80s music scene. And it's just hilarious and sharp and sassy, and the talent in the writing and in the cast is amazing. There's all original music. Peter Jessup is our fearless leader who wrote and created the series, and so we're crowdfunding now. So if you are interested in seeing the series, and please go to my socials, check out the cast. There are links to our Kickstarter there. We can't do this without you all, but it is so special. Like I'm so excited to be a part of it. And we're just, putting all our good vibes out into the universe now that we can get this going. So
Tamar, maybe do you think you can pin that, you can put that URL up in the chat and I will pin it at the bottom so everybody can access it.
That would
be, so you guys can go online.
That would be amazing. Thank you. I mean,
you might even get a producer credit, right? I mean,
ooh, there you go.
That?
Knock on wood. But it's true. As with any art, it's a collaborative thing. The arts always need funding and always need, support. And especially in this pandemic, I hope that we all realize just how important art is. Because when you're at home, you're watching stuff on TV, you're reading books, you're listening to music, you're participating in all the things that we actually create. And so we're hoping that we'll get the love and support that we need. One way or another, the thing's getting made though. It's too good to not. So I am very proud and honored to be a part of it. And
small story, I believe Peter's cousin is a friend of mine that is going to be doing the backdrops for the new show when we go in studio. They're going to look amazing.
I can't wait for you to see some of it, and you'll be able to see like a little bit of an animatic that they put together on the Kickstarter of kind of what the art's going to look like, and the music is. I mean, it's hilarious. We were at our table read, and I had to put myself on mute. I was laughing out and disrupting everybody. So
it was on Zoom. I was like, what?
Yeah, we're all virtual.
Girl, I had to put myself on mute. You know what I'm saying?
Girl. I mean, we're voice actors. If we don't mute, we're just all talking over each other.
Just in real life, though, I think I need to put myself on mute.
I think
sometimes I'm like, tone it down, take the volume.
Done. We will mute
down a few notches. So now, when you were in Chicago, I know you did a lot of theater and training for theater. I was curious how that impacted your process for how you approach voiceover and on-camera auditions.
Yeah. So, theater is my first love. I was born on the stage as an actress, and it's where all my training was, all my undergrad was, and I'm hugely proud of the foundation that in acting that theater gave me, the discipline it taught me. It was a perfect training ground for learning how to break down a character in a scene, how to work with the director, how to collaborate with other artists. And no matter the medium, whether it's stage, whether it's on camera, voice acting, it's all acting. It's all storytelling. That's what acting is. It's a business of professional storytellers. So for me, I'm very much, I always feel like my feet are rooted and grounded in that theater foundation that I got. I will always love theater. I will always want to do theater. There's nothing like being in a live audience and feeling that energy. And but I really do. I use the things I learned in theater school every day. Gave me a chance to test out different processes and different philosophies on how to get to a character, because we have to kind of reach deep into ourselves and be able to get vulnerable to be able to create a character that reads authentic to the audience. And it takes a lot out of you, so you do need to kind of trial and error and see what works for you. And I feel like that is what my theater background gave to me. And
do you how do you do that then? How do you get yourself into a place where you can be vulnerable and prepared for the role? What's your process like?
I mean, I think it takes a lot of courage, first off, right? For any of us that are in this biz, we have to be willing to delve deep into those emotions that we'd otherwise maybe not want to deal with on a daily basis. But I think for me, it has to begin with the imagination and the storytelling. And I feel like, you know, particularly for voiceover, everything is in your mind. You are creating all of it. You know, when you're on an on-camera set or you're on a stage, you do have beautiful sets and costumes and props and lighting and things to help you immerse yourself in the world. When you're in voice acting, the immersion of the world is all in your own mind. And so the teaching me how to deal, my theater career taught me how to deal with the given circumstances, how to figure out, you know, what, you know, the things I think about when I get in the booth or when I get into a play or onto a set. It's like, who am I? What world am I in? What universe am I in? What's my function in the story? What story are we trying to tell? You know, who am I speaking to? Where am I? Where did I just come from? You have to make all of those things real for yourself, or it will look like you're play acting, right? Or it will sound like you're play acting. And that, I think, the only way to get to that vulnerability and that truth is to know all of those details so solidly for yourself. And then at some point, once you've done that work and done that preparation, you have to let it go and be in the moment and trust that everything that you did to prepare will carry you forward into the story. Because the last piece is, now what is my castmate giving me back? You know, you can't just create what you're going to do in your mind and then not listen. You have to kind of listen and respond just like we do in real life. And so I feel like theater was the perfect training ground to teach me how to listen, to teach me how to be more present. And trust me, there is no more present in life than when you're in front of a live theater audience and your prop goes missing, people drop lines, you drop a line. Improv is,
you're bringing back nightmares.
Everything, right? It is so, speaking of vulnerable, like, it's so intense, and there's no better training ground than having to be in that situation and work yourself through it and keep the story going.
I miss the days that Nosh and I were in class and you were in the other class, Dan Kirsch Studios, and we used to get together and like run lines, you know, and like work on our sites together. That community, I think, is so crucial to people that are learning their process, or, you know, even anybody at any stage. We're lucky that at a certain point, the work or working kind of replaces that community of working on audition sites. But I very much miss that. I long for it, you know?
That's been one of the hardest things about this pandemic for all of us is art is so collaborative, and we rely on each other so much, and we all are friends outside of the work we do. There's such a bond, and they used to say in theater, the cast that plays together is stronger on stage, and I think that's true of all of these different mediums that I've had the fortune of playing in. So
you need those midnight IHOP runs where everybody just is like 20 people ordering coffee and waffles.
Yes, it's just, those are the best memories. And I think that's the thing, that collaborative spirit and that friendship and that community and family. We miss it a lot, and we're finding our way, you know, doing it virtually. And you know, there are times when we are going into the studio, and all the professional studios are working so hard to protect the actors and keep everyone safe in this pandemic. So those moments, though, when you actually get to be in the group read or get to be live, are just, we truly realize their value now that we don't get to do that as much anymore. So
yeah.
I
had one of my somebody had asked in the question chat, when you do your warm-ups, how do you know your voice is ready post warm-up?
Well, I am actually, it's funny, everyone that knows me from my early life, my grade school, high school years, know me as a singer before an actor. Everyone from college on knows me as an actor and may not even realize that I sing, but I am a singer. Jazz is my forte, but I was classically trained, and I did Indian classical music, and I did all of this stuff. And so I am very in touch with my voice. It's almost hard to put into words when I know my voice is ready, but there will be days when I will be able to do a quick warm up and I'm like, I'm warm. I feel it. It's almost like I can feel the parts of my voice that I use stretch the right way. It's almost like, you know, before you play a sport, you're stretching out the muscles and you're, you know, moving the body, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, everything's warm, everything's moving. I feel like we're all stretching now. Everybody's at home stretching. But
I must be older than you, because at this point, I never feel that way. I like come from an hour hot yoga, and I'm like, I still am not.
Trust me when I say there are days when I'm like 2 hours into a warm up, I'm still not warm. So age catches up. But I think that's part of what everybody who is aspiring to do this, and everybody who does this for a living, has to practice. You have to be so familiar with your own instrument and know where your limits are and know what you're capable of, before you go into a session, because then they're going to expect you to pull off whatever it is you auditioned with for at least 4 hours. And so if you can only do it for 5 minutes, don't send the audition in, but I think that is part of the work, is in knowing your own instrument and kind of knowing where you're, when it feels right and when it's in performance mode.
Yeah. And so what's it like being married to another voice actor? First, for anybody that might not know, your husband is Noshir.
Noshir Dalal. Yep. He is, if you guys are gamer fans, then you've beat Nosh up in a game somewhere. He's very prolific in that world. He does a ton of performance capture and video game, and he's done a ton of animation this year, which is really exciting. Somebody mentioned Vice Admiral Rampart. He plays Rampart on Bad Batch. And we I guess it's as with any partner, if it's right, it's right. We both came from a theater background. He was working the scene in New York, and had been on Broadway and had done a bunch of tours, and transitioned into on camera, where he's still pretty prolific. I have been a little bit more on hiatus with my on camera and kind of putting my focus on VO in the last couple of years, but it's always still there. The auditions still come up and the opportunities, but I feel like we just sort of have found our balance together. I think it can be a blessing and it can be a curse, if I'm on here being real and vulnerable. There's a real joy and a real relief in having a partner that really understands what you go through, in your business, who also goes through it. So, if I'm pinned for something and then it gets dropped, I don't have to explain what that is before I can emote about it and have him really understand why I'm upset, or and at the same time, when you have two really highly driven people, and we're in a biz where, particularly in voice acting, there are times every once in a while where we're up for the same role, because they're not sure which way they're going gender wise, and they're not.
Wow.
So there is and there's also this sense of your career ebbs and flows. So sometimes he's really busy and I'm not, or I'm really busy and he's not. Yeah. And I think part of the artist's journey is that little worm in your brain that's like, oh God, am I ever going to work again? It's just a thing that we all battle, and so it can really play tricks on you when you're when you're in low tide and your husband's in the high tide place, or vice versa, and you have to kind of realize there will be work. You just have to keep your eyes on the prize and keep plugging forward. But I think what happened for us is, at some point, we really did become kind of one, as cliche as that sounds. And now I really do feel like when he has success, it's my success, and vice versa. Every time he has a win, it's a win for our household. It's a win for us as a team, fighting for this career and this life. And so I feel like we really are a great match, and have found a way to make it work, when it's right, it's right. I think that's.
Do you direct each other? If you have a big audition, are you like, okay, come here?
Definitely. Particularly for self-tapes and things like that, I'm his reader, he's mine. And we do try to direct each other. Sometimes it goes great, sometimes not so much, but we are always trying. And I think it's, we're always trying to give constructive criticism and try to help each other get to the best possible end result. In the booth, I think we both tend to work solo in our studio here, but I will often hear honey, can you come listen to this and tell me, give me your thoughts? And I think we're at a point now where we do trust each other and trust each other's opinions, and so, we try the best we can to give each other as much love and support and respect as we can, because your work is really vulnerable, and so anytime anyone is giving you notes or criticism, you just have to learn to suspend that part of you that takes it personally and just know it's about the story.
How do you guys how do you work out who gets the booth? What if you're both booked at the same time? You have one booth, is that right?
It's true. We do have one studio right now, but it's funny that you should ask. We are literally getting a second. We're literally talking about that right now because it's booth time is at a premium in here. And so, but we are very fortunate. We have the same representation. We're both with Atlas Talent, and they're amazing and very, you can't do this without a great team behind you, right? And so they actually have a booking calendar for us that we all share, so that they and us are monitoring when bookings are happening, so we aren't double booking the booth. And so
it's not like a voice off. It'd be like, on your mark, get set,
no,
go.
No, I think
I can say the most words in 5 seconds. It's gonna win.
I would win if it was the fastest talker, but he can outrun me. So, but it's worked out great. There are days when it's back-to-back sessions, or they'll schedule, like, if this one's an hour and a half and I have to sneak in for 30 minutes and then he has another. There is often a little game going on in here for booth time. But what a fabulous problem to have. Certainly there are no complaints, and we don't take it for granted. We are very grateful for the opportunities, and it'll be fun when the day comes that we have a separate studios, so we can be doing our thing and doing it at the same time. And
are you still there?
If he doesn't want to listen to me tell him to do the dishes, he'll just shut the door and he's soundproof, and then I'm just yelling at no one.
You gotta go email him.
Yeah, there are times where I'm literally like, honey, there's no response, so then I'll call him. I'll be like, where are you in the booth?
Where are you?
So yeah, found a way to make it work. So fun. Yeah.
Well, I am a huge fan of Carmen Sandiego.
Yay!
And Bellum. I mean, it's been so great watching the show with my son and seeing how much he loves it. And seeing, how much I love it. So can we talk about that whole experience from casting to recording and what that was like?
Where do I begin? Just the best time of my life doing that series. First off, to be chosen, the casting goes nationwide, sometimes worldwide, depending on the project. And I remember walking into my callback and being very nervous. And then Jamie Simone was our director, who also is the owner of Studiopolis, which if you're in the biz in LA, Studiopolis. And Dwayne Capizzi is did you have him on the show?
Dwayne was on the show.
Isn't he just one of your favorite human beings ever?
Yeah. He sent me a cast and crew shirt. I have a cast and crew shirt.
Can he send me one? Can
do that? It was it's an extra large.
Oh my God, I'll take it.
It's amazing.
No, but he is seriously, our showrunner, Dwayne, is one of the kindest, most collaborative, most wonderful human beings there is on the planet. And so I remember walking in and being like, and instantly he just allayed my fears, and I was able to just kind of settle into it. He started showing me renderings of Bellum, and I loved everything about her. And we gave it a whirl. We did some with an accent, without an accent, just to sort of test the waters. They're always in the beginning trying to find the voice print that works for the character. Do you don't want to hear a fun fact? It's December 1st, isn't it?
You froze for a second.
Are you there?
You're back. Yeah.
Am I here now? Am I unfrozen? Good. Okay.
Yes.
I was just saying, today's December 1st, right?
I know.
So
yeah.
Fun little Carmen Sandiego trivia. My very first session for Carmen Sandiego was on December 1st, 2016. It was on December 1st. I just know the date.
It's crazy you guys started recording so long ago.
I mean, these projects start way in advance because usually the voice is the first thing they're putting down, and then the animators are animating and whatnot to our work. But
Yeah.
I will never forget that first day and that first session. God, the cast was so amazing. And, you know, for me, I am not too proud to say that I was like happy to sit and have masterclass and watch all these incredible artists whose work I, you know, look up to, who are like role models in the business for me, do their thing. And, you know, I got to grow as an artist and I got to watch them. And you've got like, you know, I'm standing in a session and Mary Elizabeth McGlynn is on one side and Kari Walgren's on the other side. And, you know, Paul Nicochi and all these just amazing voice actors. And I was so privileged to kind of see them do their thing and to watch and to learn and to kind of get a window into what their process is like. And I feel like it really grew me as an artist through those seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Just such a privilege. And I would, you know, I just, I loved everything about it. And as I started to grow more comfortable in my own work, what's fun about when you get to live with a character for a really long time is you start to feel the writer's writing to you. Like you create something, you know, and you're all kind of trying to decide what's the voice print, what is she like, you know, or what is the story. And then little by little, you take it on. You know, those vulnerabilities we talk about, that authenticity that you try to bring to a role. And she started to sit really easy on me. And that's when we started playing with just how funny Dr. Bellum is, you know, because you've got these five big bads, these super villains. And, you know, I think Dr. Bellum was a little bit of the comic relief in the middle of them, you know, the kooky genius mad scientist who blows the mission because she's watching cat videos online and she's distracted, you know, and that was so fun when we really discovered that. And I would lean into her like kookiness, if you will, and then little by little you'd feel Dwayne and the writing team giving her a little more and a little more and a little more. And by the end, I mean, I just had a blast. I just would let loose and really just let her be as funny and zany and marching to her own drummer as, you know, they would let me. And then I got the great fortune of, I also play Agent Zari on the show. And so she's a character that evolved into some kind of more in the later seasons. But they brought her to me and they were like, would you like to take her on? And it was really important to me that I created two distinct characters. So it wasn't, you know, I really wanted them to live in their own worlds and their own headspace. And what a dream come true that series was and is for me. I love that cast. We laughed our butts off in every session. And just, you know, such a privilege, such a privilege.
Aw.
Yeah. Go back in a heartbeat if they were like, hey, let's do another.
I mean, hopefully. It kind of felt like it wrapped up intentionally, but
yeah, I mean, I think the thing people don't realize is, you know, we are at the liberty of whatever production is telling us. So like Netflix, you know, had this idea of how many seasons or how many episodes, and we, you know, leaned into that. So, but I do believe there may be, I don't know, I can neither confirm any of this, but I do believe there may be life for it down the road somewhere, somehow, because there's a lot more stories to tell. So I have my fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for you.
Fingers crossed.
Jim Tasker, I don't know if he's still on the chat, but he had an excellent question, which was, when you were growing up, did you have a favorite animated character?
Yes. I mean, this is a good story. The one that comes to mind is actually the one that was my first inclination to even be interested in voiceover, and that was Cree Summer. I used to watch Animaniacs like a maniac when I was, you know, attended Animaniac, and I loved Elmira. You know, the little redhead that was like loved animals.
Yeah.
You know who I'm. And I would do the voice and had all these storylines in my head of how I was gonna like get cast as, you know, her long. I had all these things in my head, and I loved the series. I loved her work. I also really respected Cree in her on-camera work. I mean, she's just so wonderful, prolific actress. So funny story. So my very first animated job as a professional voice actor was Johnny Bravo. They did a TV movie, Johnny Bravo Goes to Bollywood.
Yeah, Goes to Bollywood. Okay.
Yes, Johnny Bravo went to Bollywood. Into India. and had a bunch
Mhm.
of adventures there. And by then I had done Diablo 3 and Hitman Absolution. So I wasn't necessarily like brand new to the industry, but I
Yeah.
had not done anything professional in animation.
Mm.
So and of all places, I met Studiopolis and for my first session, and Charlie Adler.
Coincidence? I think not.
I mean, it all comes full circle in life, ladies and gents. And I walk in and they tell me, hey, you're going to be with these two other actresses. They had hired me to sing this song with these two other actresses. And then they were going to bring me into a group read to play a few different incidental roles. And I walked into my first animation and it was me, Cree Summer, and Tara Strong. No pressure. No pressure on day one in my business. And I darn near had a heart attack when I saw Cree. And but talk about two of the most loving, giving people, humans, actresses. Never once did they act like the celebrities that they really are. They treated me so kindly. They welcomed me. I had bindies in my purse, the little the stickers, like. And they were like, get him out. We're in Bali when they put him on. And the three of us sang our song together and we just had such a blast. And I can't believe that was my first job. And years later, I still tell that story because they're just such good humans. And it was such a great way to enter this biz,
Can we hear the song anywhere?
On the series, I know we were these three little, they were kind of singing this like theme song, and so it's part of this actual TV movie. I'll see if I can find it. If I can find a link, I'll certainly send it over.
Yeah, that's so fun. I'd love to share it to stories.
So fun.
Because it aired only outside the United States. It never aired in the United States.
Okay, I never was sure if it was airing in the U.S. or only internationally, but that was also a really triumphant day for South Asian voice actors. I mean, it was really full of incredible, South Asian talent, and that was also really special for me on my first.
Amir Talal and
Asia. Yeah, Ajay Mehta was there, Sheetal Sheth, and I think Sunil Malhotra, what it might have been there. Just a bunch of incredible actors and actresses. So yeah, that's a fun little story. She was really the first animated I loved. And
yeah, I want to hear more of you singing.
What do you want to hear?
Do you want to sing right now?
I can do a little jazz for you. Oh my God, I'm being put on the spot. See,
I'll be back here.
Sing a little ad for you there, or Ella rather. I wanna Sunday kind of love, a love to last past Saturday night. And I like to know if it's more than love at first sight. I want a Sunday kind of love. There's me, a little not warmed up, but
guys, where are those hearts?
Oh my God.
Hello, give that girl some hearts.
They're all like every summer's checking out what she's up.
They're just stunned. They're just stunned into submission.
It
with
was
your beautiful voice.
That was me badly warmed up, but I spent years gigging jazz in Chicago and years singing choral and years, just doing that world and recording and all that other stuff. And so it's been a long time since I was.
People are saying, encore, you're getting roses thrown up in the chat.
You know what I'll do? So she's been encouraging me to post some more singing. So that's what
I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you guys all know Alicyn is like a prolific recording artist and has like the most amazing voice ever, right? Everybody knows this.
I sing from my soul above.
There we go. I mean,
I do have a pretty soul.
One or two times where Allie and I were, in her gorgeous home studio. She's a gorgeous home studio. Working out some stuff for her series. You sang all kinds of stuff for like Tom and Jerry, was it? Didn't you sing Tom and Jerry?
Did you sing that? Yeah.
She's a gorgeous. Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
I'm excited. I'm actually going to be doing a pre-pro meeting this week to record a kid song that I wrote. I feel like I'm more of a singer-songwriter,
Oh my
you know,
God. Your album is amazing.
versus like singer.
Heartbeat of the Universe.
Yeah.
Everybody go check it out. I love how I've turned this around now. I'm interviewing her, everybody. And go check out Heartbeat of the Universe. Alicyn's voice is just stunning. You won't believe how amazing and soothing and wonderful her voice and her writing is. So go check it out. Go check it out, you guys. You're in the presence of greatness.
Well, $19.99.
Check it out.
It's free. So back to Sharon. Do you see what she did there, guys? She tried to turn the tables on me. Try to make this interview about this one when it's about this one.
I'm back. I'm ready to.
Oh, Hunter said we should work together on a Christmas song.
You know
That's
what?
not a bad idea.
Alicyn, we need a duet.
Oh
step.
my God.
So what if
you know,
we do that?
I actually wrote a pretty funny Christmas song that I was thinking would be great to record. It's called We're Totally Unprepared for Christmas. It's a comedy duet.
Excellent.
Maybe we should record it. Or we could record a series.
We'll do that and we'll post it. We're going to sing together.
We'll talk.
Yeah.
Call me. You have your people call my
she's
people.
Like, I knew she was going to say, have your people call my people.
So I am curious about how you got involved with the Dark is Beautiful campaign. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, near and dear to my heart. So I'm pulling my hair back. You guys, I'm super casual. So if you were expecting me to like look like a starlet and have perfect hair and stuff, you were so
you do look like a starlet.
Like, we love the end of the day, and I'm in my
eating it up.
No, thank you. Dark is Beautiful. Dark is Beautiful is a social awareness campaign. The home base is in India, but it is a global campaign. And the mission of the campaign is to rid the world and fight the really toxic, poisonous notion that beauty can only come in fair skin shades. That colorism is, the term that they use, which I 100% believe is a seed for, racism. There is in a lot, it's very, very pervasive in South Asian culture, but in all ethnicities, as I've worked with the campaign and as I'm getting letters from people all over the world, all different ethnicities, there is this pattern that exists that the fairer you are, that beauty can't come in darker skin shades. And it is absolutely incorrect and a horribly poisonous, thought process. And I am extremely passionate about it. And I just felt like, if I have any kind of platform at all in my career, I would love to make sure that if I do have the privilege of even amplifying anything a little bit, let me make sure that I'm amplifying some things that are for a worthy cause. And so, the campaign, they work tirelessly. They do a bunch of outreach. They go to schools and educate younger kids so that they're growing up with the right mindset. First off, that a person's worth should never be determined by the color or shade of their skin, but that even more so that all shades are gorgeous. That beauty can come in fair skin, medium skin, dark skin, and beauty doesn't have boundaries. There are no boundaries. Creed, color, size, shape, disability, gender, whatever it is that that makes you. It can be beautiful. And so I love the campaign's message. And I was telling stories about how when I first got into this business, there was, I was still in Chicago acting, and I was just kind of starting to toy with on camera, out of my theater days. And I had this, an audition for a pretty big role. I shan't mention the network or production.
You don't want to call them out?
I'm not going to be calling anybody out publicly.
That means...
But it was major entity, and this was a major role on an indie film. And wow. I was told by the assistant to the director that they loved my read, but that they were going a different way because the director felt I didn't Indian enough. And I remember being on the phone call and being puzzled, and then hanging up and then becoming enraged because I was like, my ethnic origins are 100% Indian. That this is what India looked like. And when I started to kind of dive down that rabbit hole, Bollywood started emerging. And there, truly, the fairer you are, the more beautiful you're considered. And you'll see often mainstream entertainment media, if there are darker skinned actors, they're always playing the villains, the people to be looked down upon. That and maybe things, I don't know if things are changing over there. I don't see it as dramatically as I think it should be in today's day and age. But I realized, how can you fault Western media for looking at me and thinking I don't look Indian enough? If they're referencing Bollywood as an example, and they're seeing women that are much, much fairer than me, I would imagine their thought process would go, well, if that's what Indian looks like, then what is Sharon? And on that journey went. And so when I, came to Hollywood and decided to go into on camera, I kind of just said, it's going to be part of my mission. Every victory I have is a chance for me to tell the world, and the Western world, even more specifically, that this is what Indian looks like. And I think it just is born out of our own self-worth, like that toxicity is very pervasive in Indian culture. And so that's just what the campaign's about. And they're fighting really hard to change that, to change lightning cream and fairness creams, to change the messaging. I get messages from people who get passed up for jobs, who are shunned by family members, whose marriages break up and things because of the shade of skin. And so I can't believe that is people's reality, and so we need to change that dramatically. And it's been a real joy in my life to be part of the campaign and to lend my face and my voice, and as much as I can. Sometimes work gets busy and I'm not able to do as much as I'd like to, but they are very near and dear to my heart, and I will be working with them for a long time. So that's
very cool.
Just there. Yeah. It's really rewarding to try to change the conversation to the right way, Deep breaths. Yeah. Wow. We went from having girls' night to getting really.
We're still having girls' night. That's girls' night.
Yeah, that is what girls' night is. It ebbs and flows.
It's dancing on the tables one night and talking,
crying in your cockpit about
trauma the next.
Yeah.
Well, there has been such a call for increasing diversity in Hollywood. By the way, I'm a member of Rise Up Animation, mentor through that program. I know they're always looking for people if you are interested in getting involved, or anyone else is interested.
Yes.
You're currently working in animation. We had Monica Lego-Cadis on the show last year. Yeah. And but there's been such a call and push for diversity in casting and accurate representation in Hollywood. What changes have you seen, and how's that affected your career?
I mean, I think that I think there's still a long way to go, but I'm really happy to see that.
You do think there's a long way to go?
I think
that's like 70 to 80% of casting is going diverse for VO these days.
Definitely feel that push for diversity. I absolutely do, across the board, on camera, voice acting. I feel that. I still don't know if all of the ethnicities and all of the marginalized groups and all of the people that have their stories to tell have a seat at the table yet, because I think the chain of command always goes to like who's holding the money, and there's so many people, decision makers in every one of these decisions, but there are so many great stories to be told, and they need to be told by the people who authentically live them and write them and can tell them. So but I am proud of what I've seen take place even in the last decade. I've seen the landscape of on-camera change dramatically. I've seen different ethnic groups really rise up. I've seen the Latino population rise, the Asian population rises, so many stories being told, so many incredible talents in those groups that are rising to the top and getting their chance to write and to speak and to act and to direct. And I think it's so important, because all stories need to be told. If you're only telling one group's stories or one category of stories, then you're not getting as rich an entertainment or
of a tapestry.
Yes, like art should imitate life, and the world is not one color or one experience. There's so much to learn about and to hear about and to talk about. So I am super super pro diversity. And I think also, I can speak only to my ethnicity.
Mhm.
South Asians, we're a culture that really historically reveres intellect.
Mhm.
Often parents want their kids to be a doctor or an engineer or in finance or a lawyer or something that has that sort of like professional bent to it. And so I don't know how many parents in years previous had encouraged their kids to go towards the arts as a career. But that's also really exciting for me in Hollywood to see how many of these amazing, South Asian talents are coming out of the woodwork in every facet of the business. And I think there's a power in numbers there, right? Like the more we show up to the table and sort of demand that our stories be heard and try to claim our seat at the table, the more headway we'll make. And so I hope that's happening across the board, with
Yeah,
all.
and people on both sides of the table,
Yes,
not just in front of the camera.
absolutely. I feel that with ethnicities. I feel that with women, rising to their place at the table, in the industry. It's a really cool time to see how the business is transitioning. But yeah,
It's
I
like,
hope there's more
they
and more.
say like that when you boil a frog, like they don't realize the water's hot. It's like all of the industry, we didn't realize that it was broken so bad until it was time to fix it. And then you're like, oh
Absolutely.
yeah, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, to the depth to which.
yeah. I think, and it needs to grow more. So I'm excited. I hope that I've been able to play some small part in that transition,
Mhm.
however small or big my journey impacts, there. And I plan to keep doing the same. All you can do is try to push forward and try to get your seat at the table, and fight on. So on we fight.
How did your parents feel about you having a career, choosing a career in the arts?
I was sort of blessed with uh, uh, oddly progressive parents for a South Asian household. But I also was sort of that kid. I mean, I've been doing this forever. I started singing when I was 4 and doing Indian classical dance when I was 5. I picked up flute and piano when I was 6. Like I started doing the school plays around 8 or 9. I took voice lessons at 11. I was not surprising anybody when I was very arts forward, performing arts forward. Um, I I sometimes wonder if they didn't realize that it was going to turn into a career. They were encouraging though all of those talents
Mhm.
very openly, very proudly. I was very lucky that way. And then when I got to the age when those decisions are starting to be made, like high school and heading into college, I I just kind of told them, I'm like, look, I don't think I was not put on earth to be in an office behind a desk working a 9 to 5. I just know this about myself. I don't necessarily know where this career is going, but I know right now I can tell you confidently, excuse me, what won't bring me happiness. And I was pretty vocal about it. And my parents took a chance on me. And in theater school, I started getting cast right away. And I never looked back, and they never did either. So I've been very, very fortunate that way. It's not the norm necessarily in our culture, at least, but I hope that's changing, because all these like amazing little talents are coming out of the woodwork. So there are got to be parents out there somewhere that are like, my kid's amazing, and I'm gonna get behind them and give them my love and support. But I say it all the time. I've said it in other interviews, like, parents of any ethnicity, of course, all your decisions are coming from love. You always want the best for your children. But if they have an interest that's
I'm
specialized,
like
like,
going through my head. I'm like, is that
I
true?
hope, I guess in an ideal world, that's true, right? Your decisions, you want your children to have an amazing life, to have
Yeah.
abundance. And so maybe sometimes there are decisions that are made out of fear of that not
Yeah.
happening.
Or filtering through the parent's ego. I think that happens.
Right, right. But I think what you have to do is, if you are a good parent and you've taught your child how to be a good human who contributes positively to society, then at some point you do have to trust that the lessons you taught them, they will carry on no matter what field they choose. And so I hope that more and more parents out there of all ethnicities, if your kid has a special talent, whether it's performing arts or something else that may be atypical to you. I hope that you will wholeheartedly encourage it, because you never know what they might become and how they might change the world. So
Yeah, just watch. My kid's going to be an engineer, and I'm going to be like, cool. Do that.
Listen,
Like something.
With those genes over there, I mean,
scientist
I
or
think
like in the
Africa
lawyer, and I'd be like,
there.
cool.
Oh my gosh,
You want to go to law school?
Whatever makes him happy. You know, he's such a doll. Oh my goodness, her little boy.
He's sweet.
He's sweet.
This is kind of a little bit off topic, but I feel like I remember one of your hobbies, and I don't want to say it, but what are some of your hobbies?
What are some of my, I'm trying to remember what you think my hobby is.
In the kitchen.
Well, yes, I was about to say, number one hobby is cooking and baking. That is, I always say that, as I said, I was not born to be a 9-to-5er in an office. No disrespect. It's just something that like I know in my body I couldn't have done. So everyone's like, so what would you have done if you weren't an actress? I'm like, I would have gone to culinary school, 100%. Like, I love to cook. I love to bake. I love to host people. When we were in the pandemic, in the early days of the pandemic, and nobody knew what was happening or if the world was ending, I started to stress bake at home. And like, stop baking. I'm over here trying to fit into my mocap suit, and you keep coming out with like scones and cinnamon rolls and whatever else. But it's true. It's where I go to decompress.
Cinnamon rolls from scratch?
Oh yeah. Oh,
come you know what I made my kid for dinner tonight? Ramen noodles.
Yeah, girl. Those are good too. Listen,
they're pretty yummy.
What makes the heart and the stomach happy. That's all. But it is my number one hobby. But you know, I would say, you know, we also, you know, just like half of the world, adopted a dog in COVID. Nala, who, if you go to my page, you'll see, like, if you go to mine or Moshe's page, you'll basically see like 80,000 pictures of our dog and like one or two of us. But she's a Belgian Malinois German Shepherd mix, and she is the smartest dog I've ever met, which is a big trouble. She's smarter than the two of us. 100%, but she does the coolest stuff. We're teaching her to use talk buttons to speak with us at home. So she uses like the recordable talk button.
No way, really?
Oh, legit. She's so funny with them too. She's got a real sassy, smart, like sense of humor. But she hits our crosswalks, and she's just
back to the dog using talk buttons, because I've only seen that like on TikTok. Yeah, so does she have like one that's like, what are her different buttons say? She's
got about 25 or 30 so far. They're just like, some of them are like verbs, walk, play, whatever. Some of them are like, she'll have like Nala, mommy, daddy. She'll have all her items, her food, water, her ball, whatever, and she'll hit them in combinations. But my favorite thing that she's doing as of late, because she just is such a, like, what's the word? Like, she desperately needs attention. She just needs someone to attend to her all the time. And so I'll be like, working.
Where does she get that from?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a trait that's in the house anywhere else. So, but she, like, no, he's learning lines, and I'm on the computer or whatever is happening, and we're like tunnel vision into what we're doing. And she'll go over to her buttons, and she'll look at us, and she'll be like, play. And she'll look at us, and nobody does anything. And she'll be like, walk. And she'll look at us, and nobody does anything. And then if this continues, she'll be like, mommy, help. And I'll be like, and I'll look up, because when I hear help, I look up. I'll be like, Nala, how can I help you? And she'll be like, ouch, love, no, no. As though she is saying, like, ouch, there's no love. Nobody's giving me love. She does this, and then she goes on her bed and pouts. And so then we have to be like, Nala, love, yes, come over here. And then she comes over and gets all, like, cuddled, because she's so dramatic. I'm serious. She does the cutest stuff. If it's raining outside, she'll be like, mommy, water. And I'll be like, yes, water from the sky. That's rain. And she's really grown into these buttons, like, amazingly. But if you guys want a dog, I am not paid to endorse this, but go on Instagram and look up What About Bunny, the Sheepadoodle, because it's that same system that we use with our dog. And Bunny and Otter, there's a new dog, Otter, they're amazing with the buttons. She's got like 200 buttons or something. She can have like full conversations.
Is Nala gonna get her own IG page?
No, I mean, she pretty much has taken over ours. I don't think she needs her own because, that's all we post about for the most part. But no.
Oh,
So I would say you asked me what my hobbies are. I would say like dog is right up there too. She's just a doll and
dog
has been,
baking. Dog
yes,
baking.
dog baking. It should be like food. Yes.
Voiceover.
Yeah. Yes. But it's a hoot. It's crazy that how quickly she's learned to use the buttons. So it's fun. It's really fun. She gets so excited when we understand what she's trying to communicate to us. So
Yeah.
it's really fun too.
I mean, I didn't even know that was possible.
I,
The world just
I
keeps getting crazier.
had
Maybe
not
we
had
really
a
are
dog.
in a simulation. What
I
was that?
had not had a dog. I had not had a dog that was capable of such things until Nala. My previous dogs were darling, but Nala's some other kind of brain. Like she got a little crazy brain
She's a
going
German Shepherd? What?
on. She's a Belgian Malinois German Shepherd, so they call that Malinois X. So she's that breed that they use for like police and military, like smart, highly trainable.
Like your house is never get. She'll like deprogram that bomb in a
I
second.
mean, sometimes she just figured out tonight. I haven't even told No Sure this yet. I had the space heater going because it's kind of cold over here, and she figured out how to push the buttons on the space heater. So she keeps turning it off. I'm like,
Jeff
no,
Burns said, "Give her enough buttons and she'll learn how to direct." Maybe you
yes,
can be in the booth and she'll be like, "More conversational, more
no, faster, funnier, faster,
upbeat."
yeah, no, she's if there was a dog that could, it would be Nella.
I
So
would buy that.
she's the best. She's such a joy. So we've really gotten training her has become a hobby because she's needed it. So yeah, she's on path to be a service dog, and she's going to eventually be
Is there
therapy to kids.
for you guys or?
She's in training to be a psychiatric service dog. So eventually she will be a therapy dog for kids. Like we're hoping she'll be able to go to hospitals and work with sick kids and work with, just whoever needs it.
Will she still belong to you?
Yes. No,
Okay.
we're still, but she's
Got it.
she's a very special love for children and babies. Very special. So
Aw, that's
we're going to
amazing.
foster into something, for her to work with.
Well, we only have time for one more question. And there's one question in stories that I think is really worth chatting about, which is how long did it take you from when you started doing voice acting to get a role like Dr. Bellum, where you were, a series regular occurring? Yeah. Because I think the misconception is that step happens overnight, that even if you're talented, which obviously you are, and you're coming into it with a wealth of talent, but it still takes time to build relationships. And there's so many other pieces that go into it. So can you just talk a little bit about the length of time that took?
Yeah. So for me, my first professional voice acting job was in, I think, 2010. I had a very atypical journey though. Like I had always had a gift with dialect, and I happened to have a reel and an agent that was willing to push me, even though I had no credits. He kind of pocketed me at the time. And a director, Andrea Toyas from Blizzard, needed very specific things for a role on Diablo 3, heard my reel and booked me like blind.
What was the specific?
I do Middle Eastern accents, and she needed someone who could do Middle Eastern and British at a variety of different ages, which with my voice print I could. And so I got a booking very quickly in a very atypical way. That's like not the norm, but then I started to pound the pavement. So it was probably around 2010 or so. Mm-hmm. And I was actually cast as Dr. Bellum in fall of 2016. So for me, the journey, I was booking as much as I could in the years previous, yes. But the thing is, there is no magic. I shouldn't say magic formula. There is no pattern that the artist's journey follows. Everybody is different. Everybody's at a different place in their process, in their journey, in what they've learned. So I think that if I could give anybody out there like advice on how to kind of quiet that voice inside you that is pressuring you to like get it done overnight, like let go of expectations. Like that's, I think, something I'm working on. Like even now in my journey, it never looks how you think it's going to look, the journey, all you can do is like do the work, practice, stay on your craft, go to classes, get connected, join these forums, watch these IGs, like do the stuff that keep you in the mix and keep you in the know.
Especially watching these IGs.
Especially Alicyn's IG. That's
definitely this is the number one thing you can do.
100%. But it truly, like, you can't, casting is going to pick whoever storyteller is the right one for the role. So when you're practicing or you're doing auditions, don't go in trying to get it right. Just show them what your version of the character looks like. That's all you can do. Oh, excuse me. There's a little alarm telling me to go brush Nala's teeth. Isn't that hilarious? Okay. Legitimately, that's what just happened. But it's true. Like, don't put that pressure on yourself. Don't buy into the expectations. Just do good work. Don't forget to have fun. We get paid to play pretend. It is intense work, and it is not easy, but it is so fun. So if you just like live in that and stay present and keep making those connections and keep pounding the pavement and stop expecting it to look a certain way or giving yourself a timeline on it. It sounds cliche, but as soon as I started getting better at letting that go, I started booking. I really believe that casting, that your storytelling is affected by that pressure that you're putting on yourself. Instead, just tell the story and have a blast doing it. And the people on the other end who are listening are going to hear that joy and that authenticity. And there's only one you. No one else can do the script or do the role the way you can. So just show them who you are in your reads and in your journey. And eventually, the stars align and you get there. I really believe that everyone who is tenacious in this business will work. There's plenty of work for everybody. You just have to stay grounded in who you are and what you bring, and trust that, like, if you do the work, it'll lead to good things. So, my journey was 6 years from the start of VO to Bellum. Some people will have it day one. Some people will have it 10 years later. So don't compare. Just enjoy the ride. That's what I would suggest.
Enjoy the ride.
There you go.
Oh, Sharon, thank you so much for coming and chatting with us.
Thank you for having me. This was so fun.
It really was.
I love seeing your beautiful face and hearing that voice is like butter over there for Alicyn. But I hope that everybody will come find me, stay in touch, tell me what you thought.
Make sure you're connected to Sharon on
check
social.
out my dog,
and go check out the New Wave Kickstarter too.
Please go check out the New Wave Kickstarter. Fun. It's such a great project. We've got to get it off the ground. We can't do it without you. Just stay in touch. I love what I do, and I love hearing from all the people out there who are cheering me on. So
yay! Thanks, guys. Well, we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye. Bye.